How do humans respond in times of change? Well, we're going through a massive period of change at the moment, aren't we, with the coronavirus, and my business has been affected with a number of speaking engagements and trainings being postponed as a result, and I know that a number of my speaking and training colleagues are going through the same thing. I find it really useful in times like this to think about the change curve by Kubler Ross and think about where am I on the curve, but also where are other people, so that I can manage my own emotions and my own productivity and my own state as effectively as I can as I move through those different changes. So I thought I would take some time to share the 7 different stages with you so that you can do the same thing. The first stage of the change curve is the stage of shock, and I can definitely remember when we started hearing of the first few cases of the coronavirus arriving here in Europe and in the UK, thinking, how can this be happening? How can this be affecting us in the way that is predicted? The next stage after that is the stage of denial, and in fact productivity, morale, effectiveness tends to increase at this stage of denial because people are basically burying their head in the sand. And that definitely, I've seen that being the case, people saying, well, it's not going to get more serious, people are just making a fast, let's just carry on as normal. And that denial stage is a really interesting one. The stage after that is when things start to dip in terms of morale, productivity, effectiveness, and the next stage after that is anger and blame. And I've definitely seen that just in the last couple of days as I've been travelling around London. I've seen people getting incredibly cross at their fellow passengers, sneezing and coughing around them. I've seen people getting hugely frustrated with people having to make those difficult decisions around cancelling or postponing events. So anger and blame then on the curve then leads to the next stage, which is around negotiation and self-blame. Now negotiation, I've definitely seen people bargaining, people trying to make changes and work with what they have. Haven't seen self-blame so much with this particular one, but that's the next stage on the curve. The stage after that is the lowest ebb of the change curve, and it's where it's around confusion and depression. And people, if they're not careful, can get stuck at this phase for a long time and not move through it. And so I think we all need to be careful that we look after one another and don't feel too despondent about the situation that we're currently in and what we might be facing in the next couple of weeks. Ultimately, we are where we are, and the next phase after that is what will help us get through the dip. The phase after that is acceptance and truly acknowledging the situation that we're in and thinking about how can we make the best of it and what can we do, what is within our control and within our influence to make happen. So at this point, this is when the lowest ebb of the change curve starts to move upwards and we start moving into more of a feeling of productivity, more effectiveness and more positivity and morale. And this is a really empowering stage. The final stage on the change curve is around problem solving, and I've already started to see a lot of people who do what I do thinking constructively around how they can deliver their work virtually. Absolutely possible, completely can be done, but also thinking about, okay, so if I've got some extra time available right now, how can I work on my business, but also how can I make sure that I look after myself so that when things get busy again and when business picks up and we move beyond the coronavirus, how can we make sure that we all get back to how things were as quickly as possible? I hope you found that useful and it's helped you understand where you are on the curve, how you can look after yourself, but also how you can support other people as well.